not talk. Okay.
Thursday,
So
Thursday is okay. Thursday is
You
okay.
handle us yourself, so I will believe that the Thursday will be fine for us.
okay. Then Thursday will be okay for us. So I'll
And
just note
besides, we don't want anybody but you.
Hey,
Barbara. Maybe Barbara. Barbara is giving me early year like this.
You are the only one that we want, sir.
That
The, the,
is Barbara
the
giving
year,
you New Year gift.
the first week has maybe ended, and Barbara is giving you vibes. Anyway, so I think it is settled then. So let's do what we have to do for the day. Today we'll be looking at societies. Now, as humans, the society we live in is what makes us humans. Had it not been for a society, human beings will be behaving like animals. Why? Because most of the things that we learn are as a result of the society we live in or we find ourselves in. The language we speak, we get it from the society we find ourselves in. The food we eat, how we walk, how we communicate, how we do everything. It's influenced by the society or the group that we find ourselves in. So society is very important in studying sociology. Why? Because we keep telling you that our behaviors are influenced by the society we find ourselves in. And of course, we also ultimately influence the society that we find ourselves in. Please, Boniface, okay, let me mute you. Mute yourself for me, please, Boniface. Boniface, have you done that, please? Okay, let's move on. So today, our focus will be on the society. Society. Now, as I said, we live in a society, and definitely we die in a society. That is what Marx said. Oh, can I? Boniface, please, are you online? Yes, your mic is hot. Boniface, can you switch it off? Can you mute yourself for us, please? You've not done it, Boniface. Please do it for us hurriedly. I'd wanted to mute you here, but it's difficult. I can't. I don't have the access to do that. Thank you. Thank you, Boniface. Thank you very much. Yeah, so society is very important. Actually, this Greek philosopher Aristotle even said that he who is unable to live in a society or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself must either be a beast or a god. All that Aristotle meant was that we need a society to survive. We have to belong to a society. We have to be part of the society. And that it is only animals who can decide to be self-sufficient. They just cater for themselves and then that's all. Or maybe the gods. And so this tells us the importance of being in a society. Barbara, your hand is up. Can I hear you? Barbara.
Your voice.
Hello, Barb. My voice is.
It's very echoey.
Barbara, I think it's from you because
Oh,
what
really?
you are saying, we can't hear you.
That is it. Rather, what you are saying is breaking, Babs.
Barbara, Barbara.
Yeah, so you can log out and come in again. Maybe it will be fine. It will help you. So a society is very important. Being a society is extremely important. It is only the gods who are self-sufficient, or maybe animals. But as humans, we need it. Now, at our last lecture, I made references to the feral children Isabel, where because his parents bore her out of wedlock, they concealed her in a cellar at that place in their house for years. They did not speak with her. She did not interact with anyone, etc. Finally, when the authorities got to know about her and then they released her, she was behaving like an animal. She couldn't speak any language. She was grunting. She couldn't speak any language. She was walking on all fours. She did not know how to walk, how to eat. She was behaving. She was an animal, actually. This tells us the importance of the society we find ourselves in. That without the society, we wouldn't be who we are. So that is it. Now, so what is a society? One minute, please. Oh. All right. So, what is a society? Now, in talking about a society or in trying to define a society, some words come to mind. Societies are always organized. Societies are made up of people. Members of a society have an interest, a collective interest. And of course, geographically, you will find them together. So what is a society? Basically, it is the largest social organization to which persons owe their allegiance, right? It is the largest social organizations to which people or persons owe their allegiance. Society is an aggregate of people united by a common culture who are relatively autonomous and self-sufficient and who live in a definite geographical location. So, ladies and gentlemen, in trying to define a society, this is how we go about it. It is an aggregate of people. This tells you that it is made up of a lot of people who are united by a common culture. They have a common interest, who are relatively autonomous and self-sufficient. Every society must be able to take care of its need, and who live in a definite geographical location. They live in an identifiable place. Sometimes people confuse the geographical location to say it must be physical. Sometimes societies may not be physical, but it is identifiable place, which is very important. We'll come to that when we get to that. So that is the definition of society. So if you are defining society, you are best off saying it is an aggregate of people united by a common culture who are relatively autonomous and self-sufficient and who live in a definite geographical location. That is the definition for a society. What are the characteristics then? One, as I said, it is made up of people. It is a social system made up of people or individuals, groups, and other social institutions who interact in a relatively stable and patterned manner. Now, the interaction, normally when we talk of interaction, we always qualify it with relatively, because the interaction may not be almost always, but at least relatively we interact in a relatively stable and patterned manner. So one, society is made up of people who relate, who interact with each other. Two, it is largely made up of individuals and groups. So society is made up of individuals and groups. How do they get their members? They recruit members from within through reproduction. So in every society, it is childbirth, reproduction, that of course brings in new members, and then those new members are socialized. So it recruits most of its members within through reproduction and socialization. The fourth one is that it sustains itself. Every society is self-sustaining. It must be able to sustain itself, else it will collapse. What we mean is that anything that it needs, it should be able to provide it for themselves. That is not all. A society outlives its members. In other words, when members even die, or when one or two die, the society still survives. It's still there. So it sustains itself across generations. And of course, it must have a defined territory. Every society ought to have peace, order. Therefore, they have rules and regulations that governs a society's life or societal life. It is very important that we get to know these characteristics of society. Sometimes people say, in talking about societies, like we are still making references to culture. No, they are different. They are different. And it is always important that we situate culture within society. So one good thing about them is that both culture and society cannot exist without the other. In other words, society needs culture so that people will have their way of life. And without culture, society cannot also live. So both of them depend on the other to survive. Culture needs society so that it can express itself. And without society, without culture, society cannot sustain itself. So it is very important. All that we mean is that culture does not operate in a vacuum, but it operates within a society. And societies are made up of individuals or humans. So that is the link or relationship between society and culture. They both need each other to survive. They both need each other to survive. The differences is that society has its own boundaries, but culture has no boundary. Those are the differences. Society has its own boundary, but culture has no boundary. So Ghanaian culture can be found in Europe, it can be found anywhere. That is the culture. The every culture can be found anywhere. That is the culture. But society has its boundaries. Culture has no boundary. Those are the main differences between society and culture. And the earlier one we said are the similarities between society and culture. And also talk about the fact that Rita, your hand is up. Rita, talk to me, please. Was it an accident? Your hand was up. Tell me it wasn't intentional. Then I move on. To remind me today. Okay. So another thing that we can talk about, situating culture within society, another thing that we can talk about is that society is static, but culture is dynamic. So when we talk of the society is static. It remains the way it is. But it is culture that changes, that makes society seemingly change. So culture is dynamic. It changes, but society is static. Why? Because it is territorial. It is territorial and doesn't increase in size. All right. And then for culture to exist, it must be transmitted from generation to generation. But society, it perpetuates itself through reproduction. So these are some of the differences. We are trying to look at the differences between similarities and differences between society and culture. Whilst culture must be transmitted for people to know, for new members to know, society only, we don't transmit society. Society perpetuates itself through reproduction. So yes, people give birth and then society continues to live. But culture, it is not just giving birth, you have to transmit the culture to them. So that is another difference between culture and society. We said society needs culture to survive. It is simply because culture spells out the rules and regulations that governs life in a society. That is why without culture, society is meaningless. The two go hand in hand. They operate in that manner. So how do we socialize ourselves? Naomi, is that an issue, please? Tetua, Naomi.
Sir, sir,
Yes, please. Is that an issue? Okay.
no,
All right.
sorry for them, sir.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about that. So, how do we socialize ourselves? Yes, we are saying that for culture to exist, it ought to be transmitted. In other words, people ought to know what society expects of them. And that is the socialization we're talking about. We socialize so that we can fit into a society, so that we can become functional members of a society. These are words that are important. Socialization makes us functional. In other words, it makes us fit into a society. It makes us an important fit into the society. So it makes us functional. If somebody is not socialized, the person doesn't become a functioning member of that group. Though the person may be in that group, the person is virtually, as we used to say in secondary school, a waste pipe, because society doesn't benefit from him or her in any way. He's just a useless entity moving around. So socialization makes us functional members of a society. What is socialization? Basically, it is the process of bringing our people or persons to fit into specific societies. But Ian Robinson defines it as the process. Now, let me pause here. Why do we say the process? It's the process because socialization doesn't end. It starts from birth through to death. So socialization doesn't end. That's why in defining it, we always say it is a process. If it is a process, it means it is always ongoing. Keep that in mind as well. So socialization is an ongoing activity in the lives of individuals. I am still being socialized. I am still being socialized. I've forgotten the name of my friend. Let me check. Let me check the name of my friend. Yeah. Forgotten.
Alijetu.
Alijetu. Alijetu is also being socialized. So we are always being socialized. That is why in defining socialization, you always ought to say it is a process. It is very important that you bring that word, process. So Ian Robinson defines socialization as a process of social interaction through which people acquire personality and learn the way of life of their society. It is important. Socialization actually is the link between the individual and the society. Why? Because through socialization, the individual now fits into the society he or she finds him or herself. And it is very essential we get to know that as well. So we have various definitions of socialization. I'll not go through all those definitions. But you see, in socializing, Chaskuli, please, have we heard of the name Chaskuli before?
No, personally.
Are you sure, my dear?
Yes.
Yes, who has heard of Chaskule before that name? Okay. We mentioned that name. We came across that name when we're talking about the symbolic interactionism. He's one of the proponents of symbolic interactionism. Please study for me. Oh, don't let the New Year celebration take everything off your mind. Oh, I beg. So Chaskuli argued that human development is socially created. In other words, our development is as a result of the interactions that goes on in society. all that he said is that our sense of self develop from interactions with others. Now let me talk. Alligator, of course. If I yes, I'll come to you. Alligator, are you beautiful?
Very, very pretty.
Okay. So
Very
Alligator, no, I answer it for me. Alligator, are you beautiful?
Yes.
How do you know you are beautiful? Or how did you get to know you are beautiful?
Okay, so they used to say it in our house. My dad and my siblings.
Okay, so Muhammad has never told you that you are beautiful.
He just said it.
Muhammad, if you want to talk to Alligator, don't be doing that online. Oh. Talk to her directly, Muhammad. Ayo. Now, class, Alligator is telling us that she's beautiful. How did she get to know she's beautiful? According to her, she knows she's beautiful because people tell her. Her dad, Muhammad, and who else? Alligator, Muhammad, your dad, your parents, your siblings, and who else?
So, and
Who is the sponsor? Barbara, and then Alligator, who is the sponsor?
Hey, my dad.
Okay, so according to Alligator, Hamedou to is part. You see, so they all tell her that she's beautiful, she's pretty, and she believes it. So she knows that she's pretty. Now, Charles Cooley is telling us that we interact, we have a sense of self. So in Alligator's mind, she's pretty, she's beautiful, right? So she sees herself as pretty or beautiful. And it's all because of the way she interacted. It is through the interactions that she's been having with people. If you walk around and people tell you have a big nose, and always they are telling you your nose is big, your nose is big, you will think that your nose is big, even if it is sizable, it is normal for your body type. Why? Because you have that sense of self as a result of the interactions that we have with others. So Charles Cooley said, we develop a sense of self through our interactions with others. And he said that that is the socially, that's why I said the self is, or a sense of self is socially created. And it is created through the interactions that we have. Somebody may have very nice, almost backside. It is fine. It is not huge. It's not big. It is beautiful. It is there like that. And people tell you, oh, your backside is fine. Your backside is fine. The person likes it. Somebody too may have a backside that is drooping, almost touching the ground. People will tell you, oh, your backside. And then the person also sees that, yes, my backside is fine. Why? It is all through interactions. So when they are walking, both of them will walk in such a way confidently, thinking that, the guys behind me are watching me. They got to know that through the interactions that went on. So Charles Cooley coined the term looking glass self. Okay, looking glass self, to describe the process where interactions makes us develop a sense of self. Now, so to him, 1, we imagine how we look to others. 2, we interpret other people's reaction. That is how they evaluate us. And 3, we develop a self-concept. So as we interact with people, if you start talking to them and then they start going back or they start looking around, what does it tell you? So you are chatting with someone, you are standing in front of someone, and then as you open your mouth to speak, the person is turning around, turning the head around. The person maybe took a step back, or the person decided to not look at you directly but stare on the ground. What is it telling you? Babs, what would that tell you?
it means the person is afraid of me.
Yeah, are you sure? Okay, that is how
So it
Babs.
means
I also think the person may be shy.
it means that maybe the person is having a bad breath.
Bad breath. Thank you. Who said? Let me see who said that.
So it's me, Tetua.
Who said that you are? Thank you, Naomi. So it tells you that probably. So that is how most people interpret it. That is the looking glass self. So 1, as we interact with people, We imagine how we look to them. And so immediately you start speaking, and then, oh, the person is looking left, the person is looking right, the person feels bad. He or she can't tell you. Or the person takes a step back, or the person starts looking on the ground, so that the stench will just blow over his or her head. That's why, so he will not get it directly into the nose or nostril. Now, so immediately the person does that. The second thing is that we interpret their reaction. You tell yourself that how this person is doing. Probably my mouth is smelling, right? So that is an evaluation of how people see you. And then 3, that will let you develop a self-concept. So you tell yourself that, hey, when the person leaves or you leave, hey, is my mouth smelling? Did I brush well? Or is it yesterday night after eating, I did not brush something? So you become self-conscious. If you are next time you brush and then you meet people and then they are the same reaction, then you tell yourself that probably you are suffering from halitosis, which is that sickness that always gives bad breath. So now when you are talking with others, you try to keep a distance because in your mind, my mouth smells. Please, are you understanding me? They will not say anything. Okay, so you understand. Let's go. And so all that Charles Coley is saying is that we develop a sense of self as a result of the interactions that we have with people. Remember, I told you earlier that Charles Coley is one of the proponents of the symbolic interactionism, the one-on-one interactions. So he's one. And he says that we develop who we are. We develop a sense of self. We develop a sense of self through our interactions with each other. So that is the first thing that we should know about the looking glass self. So when you look at yourself, you look at yourself through the eyes of how people see you. So if you look at yourself, I get to look at the legs and say that, come on, my legs are always Muhammad and Ibrahim are telling me I have beautiful legs. That is it. Then you also look at your chin and say, oh, I have hair all over my body. I am very hairy. That is good. All my girlfriends are saying that I have hair. So that's what Alligator will be saying. How did she know that? She saw it through the eyes of those that she interacts with. Right. Now, so in doing that, a favorable reflection, right, leads to a positive self-concept. And of course, a negative one will also lead to a negative self-concept. So if the feedback you are getting through the interaction is positive, of course, it gives you a very positive self. So you become confident in yourself. But if it's negative, you become negative. You start doubting yourself because you start having a negative self-concept. You tell yourself, yeah, my nose is big. And my nose is big. Even when you are chatting with people who are, you intentionally be touching your nose as if to hide it. That is a negative self-concept. Now, so that looking glass self is very important. So we are looking at how we socialize in the self. The first one that we did is the looking glass self by Charles Cooley. Any question before we move on? Any question? Okay.
Let's continue.
Thank you, Mohammed. Now, George Mead, he's also a symbolic interactionist. Now, George Mead is saying that sometimes we are looking at the various ways through which we socialize or we become socialized in a society. The first one is what Charles Cooley told us. That is the looking glass self, that we interact. As we interact with people, of course, we socialize. Now, George Mead is also saying that we sometimes socialize when we take on the roles of significant others. Significant others. In our life, as we grow, there are people that we see to be significant in our lives. When we start taking on the roles that they play, when we start copying them, when we start taking on the roles, so if you are taking on the role, it means that you are copying them. When we start copying them, then indirectly we are socializing ourselves. So in George Mead's mind, we socialize when we take on the role of significant others. Who are the significant others? As we grow, we'll get to know that. Who are the significant others as we go? We'll get to know that very soon. So one, when humans are children, right, the significant others become their parents or their elder siblings. So they tend to copy them. And as you tend to copy them, you internalize what they do and how they do it. Then eventually it goes to when you become a teenager, now your significant others become another group, and then you learn from them. And when you become a post-teenager or you become an adult, your significant others also enlarges, and then you pick from other people. We'll be coming to that very soon. So to him, George Mead is trying to tell us that we develop through stages. We develop through stages. So the development of self is always through stages. The first stage is imitation, where children imitate what they see. And normally it is their immediate significant others, their parents, their siblings. They imitate. And then two, from the ages of 3 onwards, children now play the role of some significant others. So yes, you see a child playing, and then the person will playing as, or mimicking a mother, mimicking Bruce Lee, mimicking a fire officer, mimicking whoever. That is the second one. Then he said later on, team games. In other words, now the significant others are increasing. Team games. So the person is in school, and then the person starts playing with people around him or her. And of course, he mimics people as well. He mimics those around. He mimics those around him or her as well. He learns from them. He copies them as well and takes on some of the roles that they play. Now, Mead therefore concluded that not only the self, but also the mind is a product. Because as you mimic, you are also training the mind. So we mimic our symbols, our languages, we all pick them up and it's through the mind. And it's all part of the socialization of the self. So at the end of the day, A can speak this language and that language. At home, it is just one language that he understands. He will go to school, he will learn English and might learn another local language as well. Because you do not only train yourself, but you train the mind as well. So the mind is also a social product. Right. Then we can talk about Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, how we train the self. Now, Sigmund Freud believes in, he spoke about personalities, and he said that the personality of individuals consists of 3 elements, the id, ego, and then the superego. Now, the id, as we all know, is the I want a better word for it. Come on. The id is the oh, come on. There's a word I want to use. The word is missed. Alligator to help me. When you came here, I told you, so give me that word. Alligator came here to visit me.
Hey,
You sure? I told you about that word. What word was that?
maybe because of the excitement, I forgot.
Alligator, you too. Right there. Okay, so I beg you, she was not here. I was thinking that she would say, "Oh, say when?" No, she also pull my legs. Ayo. So the id is the oh, come on. I want a better word for it. Can somebody help me? You've all done a little psychology, so help me. Pardon?
Say desire or desire.
Not desire. You know, they work on the id is selfish, but there's a word for it. That's what I'm looking for.
Is it in Nashi, you know?
Right. Alligator, one thing me for kind of feeling you.
I don't know, but I looked it, and then it's saying that they aid in psychology. Is that what the one that you're looking for?
Yes.
So
Solve
it
that.
ego and then superego. I don't know.
Yes. So the aid, the ego, and then that, but the aid, the aid works on the I principle. Let me say that the aid works on the I.
The instinct.
The aid, ID. It works on the I principle. It is very selfish and always
Sir,
works.
is it the pleasure principle?
Pardon?
Pleasure principle.
Yes, it works on the pleasure principle. It works on the, so it is selfish in nature, and it always wants to have its way, have its own. It only thinks about itself. So that is the aid. According to Sigmund Freud, the first element in our personality is the aid, which demands things for itself. It only always tries to fulfill its desires. So if the aid needs food, if somebody wants food, the food is there, I have to eat. If it is sex, I have to have sex. If it is cry, I have to cry. If somebody is holding something and it's not even yours, you want it. The aid always works on that principle. So it works on the pleasure principle. It only thinks about itself. That is the first personality. Then the second personality, so you have people who are like that. Once they want something, they must get it. If they can't get it, nobody must get it. They are like that. They are very selfish. So the aid is very selfish. That is the personality of the aid. Then the second one is the ego. Now the ego is very rational. So the ego works on rational principle. It is not selfish, but it works on the rational principle. Rational principle in the sense that the ego balances the forces between the needs of the aid and the demands of the society. So yes, I want to have sex. So is it okay that you want to have sex? How can you have sex here? You cannot do that. What if the person gets pregnant? What if you are caught? What if? So the aid is very rational. Sorry, the ego is very rational. It works always on the rational principle. Okay, this person is, you are married. This person is not married. So how can you have sex with her? No, it is bad. So what happens if she gets pregnant? Then the ego will say, fine. Then that's where the rationality comes in. Why not protect ourselves? And then we protect ourselves. And then why don't we do it in a place where nobody will see us? You see, the ego works on the rational principle. So it is rational. It thinks about what it wants, which is selfish, and what society expects from you. So it balances the two. So the ego is very rational. Then the last one is the superego. The superego is the moral angle of the personality. He looks at things whether it is good or bad. So to him, it only works on that principle, the morality principle. The superego always works on the morality principle. In other words, it works on our conscience. It works on our conscience. So it can give you a feeling of guilt or shame, whether you break a rule or you don't break a rule. So yes, you people want to have sex. Is it even necessary? That is what the superego asks you. Is it necessary? You are adults. Why must you dodge in and stand in a bathhouse and be doing this? Is it necessary? Why don't you are married? Why don't you go to your partner? You too, why don't you go? You have a partner. Why don't you go to him or her? Is it necessary? So that one works on our conscience. And it is the morality principle. It plays that role of morality. So the three personalities, the three elements in our personality, according to Sigmund Freud, are the aid, which is very selfish in nature, the ego, which works on the rational principle, and then the superego, which is the morality angle of our being, our personality. So all the three together influences ourself, our personality. So you see somebody who is very selfish. You see somebody who is there and there because the person balances what the it needs and then what society expects. and you see someone who has internalized that consciousness to the point that always anything that he does, he's asking whether it is good or it is bad. But the three together shapes our personality, according to Sigmund Freud. Right. Any question on socialization into the self by the three people before we move on to how we are socialized into our various gender roles? Any question? Prosper, do you have a question for me? Prosper, Agbau, do you have a question for me?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. I love your DP.
Now, I wanted to contribute on the aid.
Okay,
You were looking for a
okay.
way. I said self gratification.
Self-gratification, yes. Always wants to satisfy itself. It doesn't care about what others think. It is always working on its own. So self-gratification is the aid. Yes. It works. It operates on the I principle. It only operates on the I principle, thinking about itself. It is very selfish. Okay, thank you.
Then you become addicted to something when you are not able to control your id.
Yes.
It leads to addiction.
Yes. If you let the id overcome you, that becomes who you are. You are always thinking about yourself. You don't even care about others around you. I traveled one day, went to a restaurant, and then they were smoking cigar. I told them, I will not smoke. Why must I smoke somebody's smoke? Or why must I inhale somebody's smoke? So I politely told the people that I begged them, can they put off their, apparently the restaurant was a restaurant that allows people to smoke there. I did not know, I did not see the sign. Because most restaurants, they will tell you no smoking in there, but that one had no sign. I did not know. So I told them, well, others were laughing at me, but the gentleman was a gentleman. He just stared at me. I think he realized that I didn't know that that restaurant allowed people to smoke, because he was the only person who was smoking there. He just put it off and pointed to the sign that this is not a no smoking restaurant. I thanked him, and then we went on. Others will not mind. They will still smoke because they are thinking about themselves. I feel like smoking. Why will you just say I should stop smoking? And they will have issues with you. And so when the id becomes your mainstay personality, you always find yourself at the wrong side of the law. So that's why you are right. Okay, I guess there are no questions, so let's move on. How are we socialized into our various gender roles? How are we socialized into our various gender roles? Before then, what are roles? What are roles? Can somebody help me? What are roles? Okay, Selena, let's go. Yes, my dear.
Can I say a role is the expected responsibility somebody has to shoulder? The expected responsibility.
Okay. The expected responsibility, right?
Yes.
I want you to add something. You've done, Selena, you've done very well. Add one other thing, then I'll give you 5 out of 5. Because you only have a role, that people expect you to play. When, okay, Hamidu, hand is up. Let me hear Alligator, and then Alligator, let me hear you.
So gender roles are expected behaviors of how.
No, relax. I said role. I did not say gender roles.
So roles are expected behaviors of how human beings should behave in a society. So that's like how they should dress, how they should talk, how they should perform their duties.
Thanks, my dear. You virtually said what Selena said. But I said, you know, when you check from online, AI, those things, that is the definition they will give you. But remember, we are doing sociology. We are reading sociology. So yes, it is right, but it's not 100% right. People
So-
expect you to do something. They are the expected rules. What people expect you to do. But
Yeah.
why are they expecting you to do? They expect you to do A, B, C because of
Society. Sorry.
the. I want a
So
word.
because
Somebody
of your status, because of
because
your
of your
status,
status.
your
Thank
gender.
you. Thank you. Because of
Good.
your status. No, don't go to gender. Because of your status. That is why you have an expected role. So don't only focus on what dictionaries and AI are telling you. This is sociology. It is because of our role. Those ones will not add the what's the name? The oh, come on.
The
Now you just
position or the status. The
the status.
position or your
Most of
status,
them,
yes.
thank you. Most of them will not add the status. They'll only talk about expected things that your society expects you, but they expect you to play it based on your status. So, for instance, you were calling me that it was time to come and teach because per my status, I have to come and teach. You did not call my friend who is also online recording it and then monitoring what is going on. No, because he will not teach, but I am teaching. So I am expected to teach because of my status as the lecturer. Right. So anytime you talk about roles, make sure you chip in the status. So the expected behavior that people expect you, the expected whatever that people expect you to play as a result of the status that you occupy. All right. So that is that. I'm sure we understand that. So gender roles. Yes, we have two main genders. On this side of the world, we have two main genders, and we stick to that. We don't go by what the Europeans and Americans are saying. We stick to the two main genders, male, female. Now, so we have two major genders, male, female. How are we socialized into being a male, or how are we socialized into being a female? We are socialized into our various gender roles differently, right? Differently. So males, if you are male, there is a way society socializes you. If you are female, there is a way society also socializes you. Last week, Aligetu was telling me she can cook all my favorite dishes, which is wonderful. She learned some through her mom, her friends, or whatever, but she learned it. Her brothers cannot prepare the meal the way she does because they were not socialized into it like that. So fine. Boys and girls are socialized differently when it comes to gender roles, and that is what we all carry into adulthood. In the slide, I have it here. Mothers unconsciously reward their female children for being passive and dependent, and their male children for being active and independent. So society tells you slowly, society socializes the female child to be dependent and passive, whilst it socializes the male to be outgoing, to be aggressive, and to be active. So that is how. Now, how does society socializes us into our various gender roles? One, the mass media does that a lot. The mass media. It reinforces society's expectations of gender in many ways. That is why now the mass media is trying to change that narrative that men too can. So when you watch movies, etc., men are cooking, they are fixing dishes, they are doing this. It wants to change that narrative. But the mass media reinforces society's expectation of gender in many ways. And so, yes, you visit a lady, you have to go with a gift. You drop the gift in the lady's hands, and then of course you sit down. She asks you to sit down. She opens it, and then you talk. Sometimes even a drink. You and the lady will drink it in her home together. Society expect that male in the evening or afternoon, whatever. When you go out with the lady, you walk her to her house, to her door. She opens the door, then you go. You don't sit in your car, though she's in the driveway, then she walks to her door and open it. No. Society socializes us, and then so mass media reinforces that type of socialization. So the mass media does that also. Who are the agents of socialization? Yes, we are socialized, but who are the agents? One, the family. Consciously or unconsciously, parents socialize us into our various gender roles. So you eat at home, and then in the morning you see the boy going to wash daddy's car, and then the girl will start doing something in the house, etc. Over the weekends, they are washing with the mom, and then the boy is weeding around or something. You know, the family socializes us, whether it is consciously or unconscious. So the family is the first agent of socialization. Of course, our neighborhood also socializes us. As we grow up, we watch. Remember, we watch others do what they do. And then, of course, the more we watch them, the more we also fall into the gender roles. So you'll be playing football, and then your mother will call you, as they used to do. My stepmother used to do in Takrade. Around 4 o'clock, when all boys are playing football in front, my stepmother will stand on top of the building, because we were living in a story building in the Scafambantel number 2. Then she'll call, Mike, Mike, Mike. She'll not even keep quiet too. She'll not wait for me to come upstairs, and then she'll send me. Go to the market circle and go and buy tomatoes. And of course, all my boys will be saying, hey, girl, you are going to buy tomatoes. Because that wasn't how we were socialized. The neighborhood did not socialize us like that. So neighborhood can also be the society, right? The community. They did not socialize us like that. Boys, this is what we do. Around 4 o'clock, we're all playing football. We are waiting for our mothers to finish cooking the cassava. The cassava and plantain will be well cooked. Then we'll go and pound fufu. And not to go to the market to go and buy tomatoes around that time. Our various religious organizations also socialize us. What we wear, how we speak, how we sit, etc. Religious organizations also play a major role in the socialization of members, especially into various roles. Then our schools. So we are looking at the agents of socialization. So the family, the community, religious organizations. Now the school or education also play a major role in socializing us. I am who I am today because I went to St. Mary's in Apawa, where they turn boys into men. So the school socializes us. Of course, school socialize you to know that, oh, those that your parents always say that they are not good, they are this and that, they are not like that. So in school, you get to know that, oh, Ebers are not like this, Ashantis are not like this, the Kusasis are not like this. Get to know all that. The Enzimas are not witches. You get to know it through socialization. And of course, in our workplaces too, we are socialized. In our workplaces, there are 2 types of socialization that goes on: adult socialization and re-socialization. In it all, we are socialized. Adult socialization is whereby, as an adult, there are some things that you don't know, so you get to know them as an adult. You have never used, at your age, an air fryer before. So when they teach you, you have been socialized, and that is adult socialization. You've not gone through, what's the name? Pension. So when you go on pension, you are socialized. And then we have re-socialization. Adults also do that in our workplace. So you are re-socialized, and that happens especially in institutions like, we call such institutions, oh come on, why am I forgetting all these things? Institutions like the prisons and schools, we are re-socialized, right? We are re-socialized. So those are the agents of socialization. Now we spoke about re-socialization. Let's look at it. What do you mean by re-socialization? Re-socialization. 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 Yes, Babs, talk to me. Barbara, please.
So I would say resocialization is the learning and unlearning of new norms, values, and attitudes of a society.
Thank you. When you are re-socialized, thank you very much, Babs. When you are re-socialized, you are learning something new. It means you've been already social, you've been socialized, but your socialization is now being reversed so that you are re-socialized into society. So normally re-socialization, just as Barbara said, normally it takes place in total institutions like prisons. They have been socialized to do something. You go to prison, you are re-socialized so that you can come out a different person. So they are all called re-socialization. Sometimes even churches or religious groups, they can re-socialize people. So you were this, now you have been re-socialized. So that is re-socialization. So re-socialization, ladies and gentlemen, refers to the process of learning new norms, new values, new attitudes, and new behaviors. You are being re-socialized, right? And as I said, it is common and it occurs when we try to learn something new, maybe new experiences, new job, new something. You have been re-socialized. For instance, I am teaching. If I decide to, okay, somebody else raised their hand. Babs, your hand is up again.
So I think resocialization, sometimes just by unlearning, you are resocializing.
Yes, but something will trigger the re-socialization, not the individual's will. So there is always, for re-socialization, something triggers it. It's not like the person will just be there and the person will say that, now I don't want to smoke again. Something will trigger it. Maybe you found a new job. Maybe you've attended a new church. Maybe you've relocated to another place where they don't smoke. So something always triggers it. It's not like the person's inner will let the person re-socialize. Salamatu.
Okay. So listen, like when someone smokes or someone is addicted to this drug, and then we take the person to the rehab.
Yeah.
So when the person comes back, then is able to change or to stop those things. Can you consider that one too as a resocialization?
Yes. Immediately the person goes to the rehab center. Re-socialize. So rehab centers are places that help people to re-socialize. And so it is at that place that they'll re-socialize him. Then he will know the ills of smoking or drugs. So the person stops. So such places are not total institutions per se, but they help with the re-socialization process. So it is re-socialization. Prosper, your hand is up.
Yeah. Please, with the looking mirror, can it re-socialize an individual?
The looking mirror and the looking glass self.
Yeah, very good. Can it re-socialize an individual?
Let me try and then say it well. You know, that one, you get to know who you are through the eyes of people. So knowing how you are or how people see you will not let you change. There's another process, probably we'll come to that. That will be next semester. There's another process that the individual will now try and then how do we even call it? Oh, come on. It is in sociology, a course that I teach in organizational behavior and psychology. So next semester we'll do that. So looking glass self will not re-socialize you. It just makes you conscious of who you are. That's all. Right. And then if you want to change, then that is another process, not the looking glass self. No. Okay. Alligator, your hand is up again.
So, with what the person is asking about the concerning the looking glass mirror,
Yeah.
you said that it will actually help you to know who you really are.
Yes.
So, when you get to know who you are, and then you realize that the way you are, your personality is not helping you to fit in that particular society. I think the person is trying to say that the question that he's asking, by getting to know who you really are, then and then you realize that it's not good, then you can change. So that's like it's trying to reshape you or re-socialize you to be someone else or someone new. Please, do you understand?
Thank you, Ali. I understand. My point is, it is not the looking glass self that will change you. That makes you conscious. There is another step that you ought to take before you will now change. So it is not the looking glass self per se that will change you, that will let you re-socialize. Hello?
Okay, sir.
So that the next one will be it has something to do with image. I've forgotten the term, but I'll remember before we end the lecture. All right. Babs.
So I still think the social mirror can re-socialize you. For example, personally, when I was growing up,
yeah,
within the home, I was always told like I have a big mouth.
Yeah.
Like literally, I have a like big mouth, like big lips or a large mouth.
After the
And
lecture, then me and you will do video. Then I'll see.
it was like an insult, right? Because people
Oh,
were
really?
telling me that it made me felt like inferior, right? But whilst growing up in a different society, now I'm getting compliments on my lips.
Yeah.
Now it has re-socialized me to have confidence and now walk with pride. Is that not re-socialization?
No. You see, let me. I think I have to get this word and then. Oh, come on. Why is the word missing? Okay. Looking glass self just makes you conscious of who you are. That is all about looking glass self. It has nothing to do with change. So I'm trying to break it down so you understand me. The looking glass self makes you conscious of who you are through the eyes of people. So the people become the mirror for you. And then through them, you see yourself. Please, are you understanding me?
So this one, we will accept. But then we are just a lot is going through my mind with regards to the example you cited when you were explaining the looking glass mirror. You said that then someone is talking to someone and the person is going back, and then the person is trying to cover his nose and all of that. And then when you said that, this person, after realizing what is wrong with him or her, the person goes home. Then the next day or in the evening time, the person brushes his or her teeth. Then the next day he does the same thing, or maybe he tries to seek help. That's like re-socialization, to my understanding. I mean, that's how I'm trying to connect the whole.
Yes, and thank you, Ali. From all that you guys are saying, I think that is how you understand it. My point is that looking glass self will not re-socialize you. Looking glass self only makes you conscious of who you are. If you will change, it is another step. It's not because of the looking glass self. So you know that you are pretty, or you know that you are too hairy. That you know. You understand that? The interactions with people. That knowledge has not re-socialized you. So the looking glass self doesn't re-socialize. So when you are conscious, there is a second thing that you will do that will now let you re-socialize.
Right.
So my point is, the looking glass self does not re-socialize people. No. It only makes you conscious of who you are. That is the first step.
Okay.
Please, are you understanding me?
We
now,
are.
I want to re-socialize. So people are saying that, hey, as for this boy, he's wicked. As for him, he's wicked. Always they are saying he's wicked. So the boy knows that he's wicked. That will not socialize him, re-socialize him in any way. But if he wants to re-socialize, there is another step that he ought to take before he will be re-socialized. Class, do you understand me?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So if I get the understanding of the re-socialization, let's say I'm an account. So I'm used to maybe eating fufu in the southern part of Ghana. And maybe I'm going to live with another family, let's say maybe in the northern region where they take the TZ or maybe a curry. And I've not taken some before. And now that I found myself in that new environment, I have to adapt or change my ways and try to take the food and eat it so that I'll be able to survive over there. So that one, can I say I have re-socialized?
You have re-socialized because now you have taken on a new value, a new norm, a new attitude, new behaviors, right? So you have re-socialized.
Hello, sir.
So
let Salah speak first. Salah, your hand is up. Salamatu.
Yes, sir. So with the re-socialization, it can be negative and it can be positive.
Sure.
Can it be negative and positive?
Yes.
Okay.
You can be re-socialized negatively.
Yeah, because there was one colleague of mine who was transferred to our school. Then he told us that when he was first posted to, it was a village zone.
Yeah.
That he said when he got there, like anytime he dresses up in the morning to go to work, whoever meets him will say, you see those things. So
yeah.
So it continued that, so he has to adjust himself to their dressing.
Yeah.
And just dress family and then go to work. That one, when they see, they know that they are going to school. Anytime he tries to dress well, they start asking questions. So that way, right, I saw it too. When he changed or when he diverted to their ways, that was a negative one. That's I wanted to know whether it has a positive and then a negative aspect.
Sure. Nanaya, let me hear you, Nanaya.
Okay, sir, please. I'm just trying to understand the looking glass self and then the re-socialization.
Yeah.
Now, based on what you are saying, I'm getting this understanding that the looking glass self will actually tell you who you are in the eyes of people, right?
Yes, it lets you know who you are yourself. You get to know who you are.
Okay. Then it means it wouldn't affect re-socialization to me.
It doesn't.
But then, can it also work in the re-socialization stage when maybe you've re-socialized? The looking glass can also let people tell you who you are during that stage.
Yes, when you re-socialize, for instance, if somebody goes to prison and the person comes back and the person is now a good Atai, for instance, he went to prison. I don't know whether he's still there, but I'm told that in the prison, he's the pastor there, right? He has re-socialized. When Atai comes out, people will tell him that, oh, Atai, now there, you are a good man. Now you are an evangelist. That's re-socialization.
Okay. I think I get it right.
Thanks, my dear. So let me quickly talk about the looking glass self again. Those ones were looking at how we get to know who we are, or how the self is developed. And we've got to know three means by which the self is developed. One of them is Cooley's looking glass self. Now, according to Cooley, our interactions with others makes us aware who we are. So somebody sees him or herself to be beautiful because people tell him he's beautiful. Somebody sees her legs to be tiny because people tell her that her legs are tiny. Somebody sees herself to not be very pretty because the person has either squinted eyes or wide eyes. That is a looking glass self. So you see us, it's just like you standing in the mirror and then looking at you, getting to know who you are. But in this case, the mirror becomes the people that you relate with, that you interact with. So they give you feedback as to who you are. Then you get to know that how will somebody know that the person is wicked? If I have something and then I decide I will not share with others, it is mine. But when people continually say, hey, this man, you are wicked, oh, this one, then I get to know that, hey, then indeed, that thing is wickedness. I am wicked. I read that because I don't share things with others, then I'm wicked. So that is the looking glass stuff. That is not resocialization, but that can trigger a resocialization in the person. So there's a second step that the person can take if the person wants to change the way he or she, how people see her. And that is the word I was looking for. I've said in my mind, I'm not getting it. So that is the second stage. It is something about you changing the image, how people see you, right? So that one will now trigger a resocialization in the person. But it is not the looking glass self that will resocialize you. No. Now you know that I am A, I want to go to B, and then that can happen. Mohammed, do you understand me now?
Yes, please.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to even contribute to what you were saying, like how the looking glass mirror does not make someone to re-socialize. Assuming right now, as we are all teachers, a teacher may come to school, maybe a male teacher will come drunk. Then the head teacher may say, "No, you know, as a teacher, you're not supposed to drink." The person can choose not to drink during school hours, and that has not make any changes. Also, the person can choose to drink and come to school, but will not get closer to the head teacher. Or when speaking to you, the person might even turn the mash elsewhere. You will not hear the scent. So I see the looking glass and the resocialization, the difference. It doesn't change it. If the person decide not to change, and no way.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you very much, Mohammed. So the looking glass self, as it came in, it's just to let you know who you are. It tells us who we are. If you want to change, then you move to another step to change. It just makes you conscious of who you are. That's all. Now I guess we can move on. So we are talking about resocialization. And Kaufman, one of the he's also one of the symbolic interactionists, Erwin Goffman. Now, Erwin is telling us that sometimes to help people to resocialize, society makes use of total institutions. Total institutions. What are total institutions? Total institutions are institutions that regulates the behavior of individuals. So they are institutions that regulate the behavior of individuals so as to bring about changes in their behavior. So total institutions are institutions that regulate the behavior of individuals to bring about changes in their behavior. So examples of total institutions are prisons. Examples of total institutions are even boarding houses, mental institutions, religious cults. They are all total institutions. Boot camps, like the military, they are all total institutions. Why? Because they regulate the behavior of those who go in there so as to bring about changes in their lifestyle. So you go to the boarding house, for instance, you are supposed to sleep at 9. So 9 o'clock you sleep. You are supposed to wake up at 5:30. 5:30 you have to wake up. Then you bath, you do whatever. You are supposed to go to a morning service at 6:30. You have to make sure you bath and dress up. After 6:30, 6:45 or 7 o'clock, you are going for classes. Your life is regulated. At 2 o'clock, after lectures, after supper, 2 o'clock, you have to take a siesta. Whether you sleep or not, you sit down, go and lie on your bed quietly, no noise, for 1 hour. Your life is regulated so that you wake Saturday, you have plots. You have to clean your plots Saturday morning or Friday after classes. For Saturday inspection, you have to scrub. Boys don't know how to scrub. They learn that in secondary school. Girls don't know how to weed. They learn that in secondary schools. It is a total institution. It brings about, it re-socializes you. At home, they'll tell you, as a boy, there you don't have to hold a broom. And so boys will not sweep. But in secondary school, you will sweep. You are being re-socialized. So that is it. So we call such institutions total institutions. Total institutions. So Erwin Goffman used that term to refer to places where re-socialization normally occurs. Right. So normally in total institutions, when a person is entering, the person is stripped of all his personalities. So you strip off all his personalities to create a new identity, to let the person know that you are in a place that will try to re-socialize you. So everything that you knew already, now you don't know it. This place is a new place. We are now coming to give you something new. That is why it is called a total institution, where they regulate everything. Normally, even if you want to step out, you ought to take permission before you step out. Those are total institutions. And that one, it is still regulated. So a person entering a total institution is greeted with a degrading ceremony. Sometimes they will cut off all your hair. They will shave you sakura, like in the military. Sometimes there are some things that they will throw away. They will say, you can't use these things. They will not let you use it. Sometimes they force you to wear a uniform. So you go to secondary school, you are wearing white and khaki. After classes or Saturday, you can wear your check or whatever. They force you to wear uniform. You can't wear anything. Those are social institutions. But they do that so as to create a new identity. They do that so as to create a new identity. And as I said, total institutions are normally well regulated. And so people outside do not frequently come in. It is sort of isolated. They isolate people outside and make it difficult for those who are inside to also go outside. Those are total institutions. I gave examples of such total institutions. Let's look at the functions of socialization. Is socialization important? Yes, it is. Let's look at the functions of socialization. One, it inculcates discipline, right? It inculcates discipline into children by restricting sometimes what they ought to do, so that ultimately they'll become functional members of the society. So it inculcates basic discipline in people too. Socialization instills aspirations. Socialization instills aspirations. So what are their aspirations? If you are well socialized, you always want to get to what society expects you to do. For instance, in Africa, now it is changing anyway. Now it is changing. But in Africa, most ladies want to get married. Most ladies see marriage as something that they want to enter in. Remember, I said now it is changing. But that was the aspiration. Why? Because in society, we've been socialized into believing that if you're a lady, you have to marry. You have to get married. And so most ladies want to get married. That is the aspirations that they have. So socialization instills aspirations in people. I also want to get married. We cannot be dating for 10 years and we are still there. I want to get married. Even if I have a child with you, still go and marry me. It is an aspiration. Why? Because we have been socialized into that. 3, it also teaches social roles. Our socialization gives us social roles. That is why the house that I live currently, sometimes if I'm pounding fufu, they don't understand why I should be pounding fufu. Meanwhile, we're only 3 at home. Me, myself, and our little kid. She can't pound fufu because she's little. So people don't understand that this is not my rule. As for this, yeah, my wife can do what's the name? Worker. So I should know, because we're only 3. Me, I don't eat plenty. Inshira will not eat. As for her, cry, she will just take small one. Society teaches social rules. They believe that this is what you ought to do, this is what you ought to do, and this is what. That's why when I'm in a room with Alligator, and then Alligator, when you came last week on Sunday, Alligator saw a scorpion here and she was running. That is a social rule. I had to face the scorpion and kill the scorpion because we've been socializing to believing that the man must be strong. I killed it. Alligator, I'm sure you remember.
Yes, I remember. They were eating too.
Okay, so so he teaches social rules, and that is our socialization. So you are walking, there's blood in me, there's blood in a female too. But when a snake is coming, they expect that the man will face the snake and kill it. That is it. Now, socialization also teaches conformity. Conformity. We've been socialized to conform. What society asks us to do, we fall in line and we do it. So we conform. We conform. And it's all because of socialization. We all conform. So they expect that no matter how Salah loves Muhammad, so Muhammad should go and then perform the rites. Even if it is Salah who is giving the money and things to Muhammad, Muhammad must do it. Muhammad must conform to such norms. And so he will do it. Right. So that is it. These are some of the importance, the functions of socialization. Ladies and gentlemen, today's slide is very, very short. I'm thinking, can I start with the last slide a little because we still have time. Let's give ourselves some 15-minute break, right? It is let me call it 2:30. Sorry, 1:30. Let's come back at 2 o'clock. Now next week then also then later on, so that from the 6 to 10 we will be earlier than 10. What do you think?
Agreed.
Hand is up. Agreed, right? Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Smart, you also agree, right? Smart, let me hear you.
That's a good idea. Very good idea.
Okay, so let's give ourselves a 30-minute break and then we come back. Then we do the last slide. 30-minute break, please.
Thank
you. So we are coming back at 2.
Okay.
Thank you. Salayam bon come. And how can you
Hey, say me, I'm still here. We are calling Salah. Okay.
yeah. Oh, I lead to Mr. So
whoa.
Medical issue.
Teacher.
Mujina obi ehu. Oh.
Bakumpenya broken heart.
Selena. Alligator no what you said that. On any problem. Selena,
I have a big problem.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, alligator. Oh, don't do that to me, la.
Don't say Obesha Hobby scan away. Oh, maybe an admin as I could.
And what's not you? He shouldn't be calling Salah.
Oh, maybe I would run a codina.
But I said, we are not doing
Okay, so we are coming back at 2, please.
All right.
All right. Thank you all.
Affirm. Me say, good. And I will.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we can start. We can start. So for the last lecture or last lesson, we'll be looking at social structure. Social structure. And who knows? If we're able to finish, then that will be it. But I don't want us to finish because I still want us to have a last lecture where I'll give you areas for the end of SEM. Alligator, will you want areas?
Yes, sir.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes.
Naomi, what are you using areas for? Selena, areas to the wedding.
Say me who say me nya uncha mashenti no ma me areas na na jama e wad alida no ba sha uncha no wa kire ne biwi awie dada.
Ono cry one make sure say any anything no buy we can dey on ante ase.
Nti ya ma bi na aja ye wa kire ne de wo da wada ma ya no ma areas
Yeah,
wa.
I'm kind of want I like to me money response one
Papa,
anything no buy. So me come
Ono
here say me
ankasa no waden oye start brains, you know.
Jamasa.
Yeah, Dr. Mpachaya, don't be discussing our private matters with everybody, okay? I feel like
Alligator to me friends you Mecca.
Nipanyo, hey.
Mama Muhammad was on the video by force.
Oh, Debbie. Bless, I'm not.
And some is through Muhammad. You saw also about this through. Anyway, let's start with the last lecture.
Okay.
And this is social structure. Social structure. When we say social structure, what exactly do we mean? Now, social structures basically consist of all those human relations. Remember, they are human relations that have achieved a certain definiteness of outline or form and a relative permanence. There are two major clauses that we need to know. One, we are talking about
Mohammed, bro, he had that, you know.
Mohammed. Oh, if you can catch on TIE, some of the new year.
Edi ana nkukọ nkata nkata no nya ebi. Tina.
I come the myself come on with Okay, so there are two clauses or phrases that we need to understand. According to Ginsberg, social structure consists of all those human relations that have achieved a certain definiteness of form. So the form is sort of definite. It has achieved it over time. It has achieved that. And then relative permanence. When we say definiteness of form or outcome or outline, what exactly do we mean? All it means is that it has undergone a period of evolution. It has undergone a period of experimentation. It has undergone a period of evolution. And then finally, it has achieved its current form. So social institutions isn't just a one-off structure. Social structures isn't a one-off output. It has evolved over time, and then now it is what it is. And then to what we say, it also has relative permanence. All that we mean is that yes, it is permanent, but it is relative, which means that it can change. It is subject to change. We are not saying it is permanent. It is not fixed. It is still liable to be changed or to change. That is why we use the word relative permanence. Right. So what is social structure actually? According to Wright Mills, Charles Wright Mills, which is C. Wright. The
Never say. Can't say anything.
called
Please, your network is breaking.
Please position yourself well. We can't hear you clearly.
that is focus. Cross. Can you so please? And some
You wait, he will join. He will rejoin and then try to connect.
Hello. This is Pop Online. I can't hear anything. Oh, okay. I
We
thought
can
it's
hear. We can
only
hear.
me.
It's a
Okay.
general issue. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Please, I just called him and he said that he joined. He's joined and then, but then he couldn't share his screen, and he doesn't. He's trying to do it, so we should give him some time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, class. Hello.
Hello, sir.
You can hear me.
Hello.
Now everybody can hear me.
Hello,
Unfortunately, I'm
sir.
unable to get back, and I'm finding it difficult. I've been shouting all along, but Adeketu is telling me none of you can hear me. I've been reading it online as well. So we have to go by the what's the name? That's Thursday 6 to 10 p.m. So unfortunately, I think we have to use that time. I'll see you on Thursday, God willing. Right. Stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye. Already here.
Okay, class, I think we can start something, right? Hello.
Hi.
Yes, can we start?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. So we started talking about George Mead, who talked about the subject of significant others and generalized others. And he said that significant others are those around us, our parents, our siblings, who inform ourselves with their behaviors and attitudes. So we tend to learn from these people as part of the learning process. So the way we speak the languages, we speak the food we eat, all that are learned from those around us. That's why there are some families that do not eat pork. There are some families that do not eat foods from the sea. There are some families that do not eat fufu. So children from this family grow up not eating these foods. not because they don't like, but because of what they learned from their parents and their siblings. And then there's generalized others. We are talking about the general issues that exist in the society. So the values, the norms that exist in the societies, the attitudes of the people, all these shape who we are as our people, as a people. But we again mentioned that George Mee talked about some stages as far as our self-development is concerned. And the first stage he mentioned is the imitation stage, the copying stage. So here, children try to copy what they see around them. So how their parents walk, they try to mimic it. How their parents talk, they try to mimic it. Some children go to the extent of even singing the tune or the patterns of how their parents, sing, how their parents sit. Some children copy that, how they eat. If they are eating chop, 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 the children also try to copy that. And that is at the first stage of the self-development. From there, you transition to the second stage, which is the play stage. So here, they try to take certain roles based on what they see and what they watch, and even what they hear. And so the roles they see at home and the things they watch on the TV, firefighters, nurses, doctors, all that, they try to play these roles as members of the society. So in the various schools in recent times, as we can see, they call it career day. So during career day, we see children dressed like lawyers, dressed like doctors, dressed like nurses, dressed like policemen, army, all that. They try to play this stage, these roles as part of the learning process. And the last stage that George Mee talked about is the team game. So here, it's not just about the person playing a certain role, but they try to play role among each others. They play certain roles among each others. Please hold on, I'm coming. They play roles of others. Yes. So all these processes, George Mead is saying that they do not happen in isolation of what is happening in the mind. So as they are seeing, it is not just isolated from the physical environment, because we process these things. We think about it. We think about it before doing whatever we want to do. And so as we think about these things, it informs ourselves as well. And so the things we do, how we talk, the languages we speak, even as grown-ups, we try to process it psychologically before we get it implemented or registered as part of our lives. Please, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so we move on to another aspect which is very critical as far as the subject of socialization is concerned. Please hold on. I think the course rep says he can't hear what I'm saying. And is this the same link we used to join the earlier meeting we had? Hello, Madam Jennifer.
Hello.
Is this the same link we used earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I think it's done now. So we can move on to the next individual who also theorized something, and he is called Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud talked about personality, and he mentioned that there are three elements when we talk about a personality. And the elements, he mentioned them as id, ego, and superego. The id, ego, id, and superego.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, class.
Hi.
Please, what's happening? I think the whole place is quiet.
Yes.
Hello.
Mr. Ali,
Yeah, we are online.
is this UCC?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's Zenet.
UNET?
Zenet.
Zenet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I think I'm lost.
Oh, okay.
But where's your tutor?
We were having a class and the network took him off.
The
We were
network.
waiting on him to come back.
Okay, who is he? So that I try to call him. Who is he? What's the name of the tutor, please?
Sir Maxwell.
Sir Maxwell. Okay, so I'll call him and then he joins in.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Stop it.